I'm Shaun Reynolds.
And I'm Rachael Reynolds.
And welcome to What Was I Made For?
The podcast about doing what you love and prioritising your happiness.
While we aim to inspire, motivate and entertain you, please note that we're not licensed therapists or certified experts.
So if you're considering major life decisions like starting a travelling circus or quitting your job to become a professional beekeeper, maybe get a second opinion.
Enjoy the show.
See, I just do what I want, do what I love. I don't wanna stop, don't wanna grow up. Just me being me, don't follow the crowd. Don't be a sheep, look at me now. But now it's time to make more, create more. Looking at the points, cause it's time to take score. Feeling like I'm grown now that I can face more. Got one question, what was I made for?
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. We are finally back. Rach is actually in the building. And,
I feel a bit calmer this week. I'm ready for it this time.
Apologies for the delay on this season, everyone, but we are finally back in action and we're feeling pretty good about it.
And we've missed you all. We hope you've missed us too.
Yes. And the first order of business, what was your drink of choice today, Rachel?
I've got a coffee. Nothing more interesting about that. What about you?
I've got a coffee as well.
What's that you got it in though?
Well, if you're watching on YouTube and on Spotify, actually, you will see that we have, as promised, got our official What Was I Made For mugs. And you can see what is special about these mugs is you can write on every week, if you want, you can change it up, what you believe you were made for that week. So you can give yourself a bit of positive affirmation every day. What was I made for? Mine personally at the moment is I was made to make bangers. And that's music, not sausages.
Mine's not as funny because I'm not as witty as you. So I was made to bring the joy of the arts to others.
Oh, very
115
lovely.
To be exact. Just saying that's how many free trials we had last week.
Big up the dance school this week. The dance school has pulled in a whopping 115 new students from the free trials that you offered.
Go team.
Best
team
Rachael
ever.
Reynolds.
Yeah, I did smudge mine a little bit too, but are these available now? Can
They're
people
available
get these?
right now. And the way you get them is you go to our link tree. There'll also be a link in the show notes. You can go directly to our Big Cartel shop and you can order. There's only one product on there and it's just these
But
mugs.
yours is the big one, isn't it?
Mine's the big one.
And mine's the
I don't know
normal size
on how many ounces it is, but it's a big mug.
You could judge it by the size of our heads.
Rachel's got like a standard sized mug.
Yeah.
Like a standard mug.
This is
But
like
they both
pint.
have the ability to write on what you want to write on.
What a perfect
And,
stocking filler, just saying.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope you like them. We absolutely love these things.
We do. So this is season 2, and this season we are aiming to bring a little more structure, aren't we, Shaun?
We're going all the way through to Christmas with this one. Well, New Year.
Are we? Oh. This season, we're hoping for it to be more that you know what to expect. So
especially from the episodes where it's just me and you.
Yeah, and is the plan that it's 1 week us, 1 week guest?
If all of our bookings come through, then yes. That's exactly what we're planning on doing.
So we thought the first segment of our pod usually is what you and me have been up to in the
general update.
Yeah, the general update, which we have named the Inspirey Diary.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if that's going to stick? It's kind of, I mean, we didn't really spend much time.
I'd really
thinking
like
about
it if people could sort of let us know if they have better names for each segment. So this is basically our diary updates of what we've been up to since the last pod, which, I mean, at the moment, it was a long time ago. So we're just going to do what happened last week. Inspirey Diary. I think we should have a little jingle, personally.
Okay, here we go. Freestyle it. 3, 2, 1, and
It's the Inspirey Diary of the week.
Nice. There we go. Chop that up.
I didn't expect you to join me. It really threw me.
I had to get on the
really
harmonies.
Threw me. Was there a harmony?
Well, no, because I didn't know what key you were singing.
No, I didn't know either. Pick a key, any
Right,
key.
so come on then, Rach. What is in your Inspirey Diary this week?
I'm wearing my Inspirey diary.
Yeah, can we
Hang on.
get a nice view of that?
Sorry for anyone not watching on YouTube because this is not gonna.
Yeah, so if you watch it, we'll put this on our Instagram as well. But Rach is currently wearing a London City Lionesses shirt, which has been printed, personalised just for her.
So very different experience for us. Last Sunday, we were invited by one of our dancers who, I mean, is smashing it. I actually don't want to say too much about her because she's going to come on the pod, isn't she?
Yes, we want to get Ruby on.
But she works in the social media sector of the London City Lionesses, and she invited the class that she dances in to perform at their halftime show of the opening game of the season in their new home, which is Hayes Lane Stadium in Bromley.
Yep.
And it was so much fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The girls absolutely smashed it. It was nice to sort of do something we've never done before, and so nice to bring two things together. So Ruby, who is the girl who organised it all, as I said, she is smashing it at such a young age, and we'll get all of the insight into her kind of career so far when she comes on. But to support her while giving her class another opportunity. But can I just say, when we were rehearsing, and the girls didn't get to rehearse on the pitch because apparently this is like a groundsman in football stadium thing.
Yeah. They are very, very particular about their grass.
Grass. So the girls didn't get to rehearse on the grass. So instead we rehearsed on the tarmac to the side of the grass. And I looked at Ruby several times and she was full out marking this routine with her new spacing and choreo and checking she knew what she did whilst on the phone to, I'm guessing, her team at the Lionesses. And she's just like, she's like on the phone, sort of like, no, while she's sort of full out doing this choreo. And she's only, how old is she? 9 to 18?
18, 19.
I think she's only 18. She might be 19. Sorry, Ruby, if I've done you a disservice there. But she's just, I mean, that in itself, for the other girls to see someone working so hard and sort of having two hats on at the same time, amazing.
And I think obviously Ruby will fill us in more on her role there when she comes on the pod to talk about it. But I find her very inspiring because at her young age, she's got two things that she really loves. I think one is football and one is the arts. Yeah. And she's managed to sort of combine them in this opportunity for the halftime show. And I think everybody had such a great time. Yeah. And now Rach, there was a lot of really powerful female energy that day.
I was in my element. I am like all for girl power. You know I am. And to be... No, I'm going to say what really did actually fill my heart while I was there. I don't know if this will be an unpopular opinion, but I said to the girls when we sat in the stands watching the game, there were so many blokey blokes there, and they were supporting the football as if they were watching men playing football, right? And this, some people, they might be like, yeah, and I'm not a big football fan, right? That was actually the first live game.
So was that you saying that was a surprise to you?
Yeah. And I loved it. I was like, because I think it's because I have come across male football fans who would turn their nose up at a women's game. I have. So I think I've been fed that narrative that maybe male football fans who are very passionate about football don't accept women's football. And actually, I was proved wrong that day because it was just so nice to see the same energy for an all-female game. And it was lovely to have a lot of the girls there aren't football fans, but they fully got into the spirit of it and supported the girls.
Well, who knows? Hopefully from that, they might be a bit, because they were asking a lot of questions. They wanted to know more about the game. And I do think watching a group of women play some really good football may have sparked something in them to make them a bit more interested in it. And Bromley, I mean, it's only up the road. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're in talks with Ruby, aren't we? We can't say much more. No,
but,
we're not.
But yeah, we will get her on because it was lovely as well to see the girls asking how Ruby got that job and the way she explained it. She's a hustler for sure. Like, can't wait for her to come on. But anyway, that's my Inspirey diary of the week. Biddly-doo.
So yeah, my Inspirey diary. I've had a summer playing catch up because the show was obviously very, very demanding of my services. But one thing I did want to talk about, other than just making music in general, I wanted to quickly mention something that was very, very that I've really enjoyed doing, and that's working with one of our students who has an incredible voice, and she was actually on the podcast at the show. Her name is Tilda, and she's going to be releasing her first original song on the 27th of September, which I think by the time this goes out will be like next week. It's next week.
Yeah.
It's the end of next week, Friday the 27th of September. Her first original song comes out, and we're very excited for it because she's very talented, 15-year-old singer.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a big deal. So
it's a huge deal because let's just remember everything that you and me kind of spoke about in the last season about how daunting putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
I mean, to do it at 15 is scary.
Yep.
And inspiring. And I hope.
Let me just briefly interrupt you there, Rach. I would not have known that Tilda can sing the way she can if she didn't put herself out there and sort of show that to people.
Yeah.
I think it's really important, especially if you are younger and you have something that you want to do. This just kind of shows if you just show that off and not be afraid of displaying it. Good things can come of it.
Yeah. And always. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because there's a fine line between not wanting to be a show-off, but also asking for relevant support and help from people who you know might be able to kind of give you that leg up, maybe. And I think that's why that we have so many students at the school. And like you've just said, we wouldn't have known that Tilda had a voice like that unless, she did kind of sing out in class one day and then kind of made it known that this was a passion of hers. And it's so important that if you do know somebody that might be able to offer you some advice or get your foot in the door in whatever way that looks, make yourself known. That isn't being a show off. That is saying, I want to do this forever. I want to do this. Is there anything you can do to help or advice or anything like that? It is so important, especially if you can do that from a young age.
Yeah.
That is, I think Ruby will probably say something similar to this, to be honest. It's asking for that help, and that's not being a show-off to go, I'm amazing at this, you've got to, help me. That's just going, but what do you reckon? Anything you can do to help?
And I reckon there is probably a stigma with young people and other people who aren't putting themselves out as much, calling the people that do show-offs, right?
Yeah.
The funny thing is, and especially at a performing arts school like yours, I think if there are kids in your classes or outside of that calling other kids within it show-offs, it's hilarious because by the very nature of you going to a performing arts school,
we're all show-offs.
You're all show-offs.
We are all. Who did I have
Why would
this
you go to that?
conversation
Why would you go to that class?
I had this conversation with a new parent actually the other day who does stand-up comedy, and we both were saying really, we've all got an element of being a show-off if you want to go. And...
You wouldn't put yourself in front of everybody on a stage of a 600-seater auditorium unless you were a show-off.
But we need to embrace that. It doesn't need to be a negative thing.
So I feel really doing that, although it wasn't necessarily to further my career, although I'm very happy with how the song turned out, I feel very inspired by that whole...
It's definitely given you... It's fulfilled.
Oh, I've loved it. Yeah. I've really loved helping her with that. So
yeah,
that's in my Inspirey diary. I still don't know if that is the name.
I love it.
Inspirey diary. Inspirey isn't a word.
Well, I mean, when we move on to the next section that you've named, I would say Inspirey diary is genius compared,
I like
to
the next section.
bit. So that's it for Inspirey diary.
Should we move on?
Yeah.
To a new section of the podcast, which I believe, although it's kind of the same concept as last time, it just has a name now.
Well, no, it's because the feedback we got is people do enjoy the episodes with just you and me, right?
Yep.
So I said, well, if we're going to do that, we can't just be going on about life. Like, it's not what this podcast is about.
You're absolutely right, Rachel. So can I please introduce you to the question cream?
Right. So I would really, really appreciate if people could send suggestions for a different name.
What's wrong with question cream?
I don't like it at all. So for the hardcore fans who know that this ice cream was painted by me in Centre Parks when we went on a little breakaway together, but it is a little pot, as you can see if you're watching on YouTube. So
And Spotify.
Shaun and I, whatever the grammatically correct way of saying that is, have written down some questions, some talking points that are relevant to What Was I Made For, that we can kind of address each week, but we won't know which one's coming out. Some of them are from listeners, aren't they?
Some of them are.
Yeah.
So let's shake the cream.
ASMR.
Imagine if I broke it. Right, so do you want to pick the first one?
Yeah.
Have a little dig around in the cream.
I really don't like it. Okay. Oh, it's one of yours because of the way you folded it. You didn't fold it how I told you to fold it to fit more in there.
Oh, toldy foldy.
Who are some people you look up to and why? It's a funny one, isn't it? Because people always, it's like one of those classic dinner party questions of like, who's your hero and who inspires you and stuff. I look up to people like all the time, whether it's how someone reacts to a situation or how someone presents themselves one day. So I suppose it depends. Like, obviously there are people who are extremely successful in the field I'm in, who I'm always like, oh my God, amazing. So diversity have always inspired me. Ashley Banjo, the creator of that group, he's absolutely smashing it with opening diversity studios all over the country now. So I love following his journey and kind of seeing what he stands for.
So how he works things as a businessman as well.
Yeah,
Quite
and I think the way that he's always run his business is actually, funnily enough, now thinking about it, runs quite parallel with our message at our school, which is much more about inclusivity over having like exams and pushing you to be like the best dancer you possibly can be. Obviously we do that, but it's kind of, that's encompassed under this huge umbrella of increasing your confidence, feeling comfortable in your own skin, being a good person, supporting others around you. And while doing all of that, we teach dance skills and help people improve. So I've always looked up to him. I'm inspired by our team members, like Mel. Again, she is booked in to come on the pod, so I'm not going to go too much into her, but I don't know anyone, I don't think, who works as hard as she does. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, she's like a non-stop.
She
like,
is
kind of girl.
Yeah. So I do look up to how her positivity. So this is what I mean. Like, I feel like I'm constantly, I do like to people watch, and I do like to kind of see how
take
people...
note.
Yeah. So there isn't, for me, there's not like one specific person, but yeah, I think I do kind of, we've spoken about this before, haven't we? Like, I don't think you can ever stop trying to be the best version of yourself.
No, that's very important.
And I think by watching others of how they handle situations, or like I said, how they present themselves, always inspires me to...
Yeah, I think people would assume, and that's why I think it was an interesting question, because people would assume that everybody, me or you, would look up to other people doing similar things to us.
Yeah.
I look up to people that are living their life in a way that I think I should do. So if I see someone doing something that is like always on the lookout for things that could maybe make your life better.
Yeah.
And they're the people that I look up to, because I just look, I'm just wanting to, I'm wanting a bit of that in my life.
Is that human nature though? Like, do you think there's anybody who is like, I know exactly who I am, I'm never changing, and don't even take in how other people behave?
Yeah, there obviously are people like that. but that's like quite a narcissistic trait of being like, I'm perfect, everyone else is wrong. I think everybody needs to be held accountable for the bad and the good of their personalities. And over the past, you know this about me, since we've moved into this house, actually, for the past 4 years, I'm always looking for ways that I can maybe improve my day-to-day life and be a better, well-rounded person.
But I would say you tip more towards the side of like not actually loving who you are. Like I think you sometimes try too much. Like I have to be better, and you forget like you're actually pretty great as you are.
But there's always room. I'm not saying that I don't think I would ever say that I'm a bad person or anything like that, because I like to help people. I like to be nice. I like to do things, but there's always times when you're not on top form. There might be a time when you'll accidentally say something rude to somebody, or it was like with at the game. I was so focused on filming and doing that stuff that I felt like I might have cut somebody off when they were walking past me, and I might have been not so pleasant. So I always make sure that I would find that person and be like, I'm really sorry if I was like rude to you or something like that. I think it's really good to hold yourself accountable, even if it wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
I just think it's good to be kind.
Yeah, totally.
And everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next part of the pod is going to be opened up to you guys. We have such a lovely audience, don't we? Whenever we put a story out of like any questions for the pod, we do tend to get quite a lot. But we want you guys to have your voices heard a little bit more. And also,
how lovely of us.
I know, we are really kind, having just spoken about always trying to better ourselves.
Yes.
But it would be really, really lovely to kind of hear from you guys about any moments in your lives that have inspired you.
Who do you look up to?
Yes.
In your life?
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, I love that. Let's do that. Let's open that up for the next one. We're going to put it straight out on our stories. I'm looking at Shaun because I don't do any of this. Once this goes live, you need to put a story out on Instagram,
Yes, boss.
that says...
Lucy can do that.
For those of you,
Lucy, you're doing the podcast socials now.
That asks the same question back. How good? That's a great idea.
Sorry, I was typing. What did you say?
So we're basically going to ask our listeners the same question back.
Oh,
how good's that? So yeah. And like any stories, they don't just need to be quick comments. We'd love to read out and us be inspired by other people. So this is going to go out on Wednesday, and then you're going to put a story out with that.
You'll either be able to reply to this on Instagram or on Spotify or in the YouTube comment section.
Yeah. And then week after next, because next week it'll be a guest, won't it?
Yep.
Week after next, we'll then read back other people's.
Oh my God.
Oh, this is well good, isn't it?
You know what? We probably should have had this meeting off camera.
You've been telling me for 7 weeks.
Yeah.
We need to discuss
we need to have a meeting about the pod.
Yeah. I've got ages left. Where did that 7 weeks go? It's just flown by.
I know. Rach was just drinking every day.
Oh,
drinking, partying,
God.
clubbing.
This is such a lie.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows knows that you're lying.
It's not on social media because she would never actually want anyone to know that, but she is an absolute party animal.
It's not the truth. I've looked like a toe most of the summer, just like chilling out.
Me and Nala usually have to scrape her up off the floor every evening.
Okay, anyway. So yeah, that will be the next segment, and the jingle is...
We ask you the questions and then you answer them.
It's listener messages.
Listener messages with the questions.
Okay, great.
Question cream. We give you the cream. You spill the beans.
Oh, that's quite good.
You are the queen.
And I am a dream.
And that leads us to the final section
This is my favourite.
This new format, which is... Take this with you, mate.
No, let's
go
do
on,
that.
mate.
No,
take this with you.
Let's do that again. Just take this with you.
3, 2, 1. Take this with you.
That's awful. That is awful. Ask for another suggestion of that. That's terrible. So basically, we've had 7 weeks to plan this, and we're gonna
I've just written take this with you again.
Hand it over to you guys.
Better name. So we come up with a format, change the name for all of it.
We've done the hard bit. You guys just need to name it.
Yeah, we need to just title it all. So
right, take this with you. This is my favourite part, actually.
Every week, we're going to try and give you something motivational, inspirational that you can take with you into the following week leading up till the next episode.
And are we going to take in turns to find them? Because I am quite busy.
I will do my best to find them, Rachel. But usually now, the algorithm on the what was I made for Instagram? I was going to call it Whatstagram. On the What Was I Made For Instagram account, the algorithm is serving up a lot of this stuff because of what we post. So I'm pretty sure we should find it. But there was a really good one. By the way, if my voice has sounded weird in this podcast because I've just got back from a stag do.
Why wasn't that in the Inspirey diary? Not very inspiring.
Didn't inspire me. Didn't inspire me. If anything, it just made me feel like beep.
Like bleep.
Oh, that's not to say it wasn't a great time, by the way. I had a great time. Big up my brother for getting married soon. But while I was on that stag do, something flashed up on my phone on Instagram, and I found it very, very inspiring and a good message for people. So let me just find that out. I think I sent it to you, didn't I, Rach?
Yeah, it's on WhatsApp. An
important screenshot that Lady Gaga tweeted. I don't know when the exact date was, but it was a while ago. There was a Facebook group that was made about Lady Gaga. Her original name is Stephanie Germanotta. Don't know if you knew that.
That's Lady Gaga's name?
Yeah. But the Facebook group is a picture of her back at college, it looks like. And the name of the group is Stephanie Germanotta, You Will Never Be Famous. And it has 12 members in that group. And Gaga retweeted the screenshot of that Facebook group, and said, "Some people I went to college with made this way back when. This is why you can't give up when people doubt you or put you down. Gotta keep going."
I love that.
Because I think Lady Gaga's quite famous now.
Is
she? I can't be sure.
Lady what, sorry?
Lady Gaga. Gaga? Lady Gaga?
Yeah. I mean, talk about 2 fingers up to the haters.
Yeah, that group had 12 members. That tweet had 4,233 retweets.
I would love to know what those 12 people are doing now. I mean, not that I wish them any
No, but there's clearly some bitterness and jealousy going on
sure.
in even creating that group. So that just goes to show, I'm not saying we're all going to end up being Lady Gaga level famous, but at the same time, the people that are present when you're at school and at college and stuff like that, they will not be present when you're in your later life. So do what you want to do when you're young, because you won't see those people or hear from them ever again when you get older.
I have said this so many times to teens at the school when I'm like, anyone who's making negative comments about you putting yourself out there, I guarantee you that you probably won't remember their name in 20 years' time. And it's just, it will seem so insignificant. Do not give it any energy now, because I promise you, when you are older and you are doing what you love, you will just look back and be like, "What? Who was that person? What did they say?" You won't even remember it. It won't even exist in your mind. Yep. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but if you can, take with you the fact that Lady Gaga herself had 12 people trying to tear her down when she was at school. Look at her now.
Yeah, look at her now.
And that's it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening and watching if you're on YouTube.
And Spotify.
We'll be back again next Wednesday, but until then, don't forget to like, comment, follow all of our social media platforms.
At whatwasimadeforpod.
And you can send us an email to
whatwasimadeforpod@gmail.com.
Keep an eye on our Instagram, because we're going to be asking you guys some questions for the next ep. And
buy our mugs.
Don't forget to go and get yourself a mug. A mug from some mugs.
Mugs from some mugs for some mugs.
We will see you again next week, as once again we try to answer the question,
what was I made for?
Bye.
Bye.